The FDA has warned for years, too much canned tuna can expose your family to toxic mercury, the kind that damages the brain and nervous system. Yet millions of cans are still sold across the U.S. every single day. No warning labels, no second thoughts. Tuna feels safe. It's cheap, fast, and full of protein. Families toss it into lunchboxes, stir it into salads, and stack it high in their pantries without a second glance. But the truth? Not every can is as harmless as it seems. Behind those colorful labels are risks most shoppers never see. Hidden ingredients, misleading claims, even safety recalls that flew under the radar. Some cans say, wild caught, light, or healthy. But what's really inside could shock you. Several popular brands have faced lawsuits. Others have been linked to unsafe mercury levels or mislabeling scandals. Yet they're still sitting on shelves today. That's why we're revealing 6 canned tuna brands that may not be what you think, and what safer options you can trust instead. This is BizWorld Explorer, uncovering the hidden truths behind everyday food brands so you know what's safe to eat and what could silently put your family at risk. And remember, we upload daily, so hit subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's investigation. These aren't just stories, they're warnings, because food should bring peace of mind, not hidden threats. And when it comes to canned tuna, knowing the difference could protect your health and your wallet. Let's get into it, starting with brand number 1, StarKist. StarKist is a household name. The blue label, the smiling cartoon fish, the tiny cans stacked in nearly every grocery store in America. It's been a lunchbox staple for decades. Parents trust it. Grandparents swear by it. But what if that familiar can isn't as safe as it seems? Behind the friendly branding lies a history of legal trouble, misleading claims, and safety concerns that most shoppers never hear about. One of the biggest scandals? StarKist was hit with lawsuits over its use of the dolphin-safe label. The brand promised its tuna was caught using methods that protected marine life. But investigations revealed that wasn't always the case. In some fishing operations, dolphins were still harmed or killed, despite the logo suggesting otherwise. So families who thought they were making an ethical choice were unknowingly supporting harmful practices. And it doesn't stop there. StarKist has also faced product recalls. One of the most serious was tied to processing issues that could have led to contamination. Imagine reaching for a can you thought was safe, only to find out later it was pulled from shelves. But here's the bigger concern. Mercury. Tuna, especially albacore, is known to carry mercury, a heavy metal that builds up in the body over time. The FDA has repeatedly warned that eating too much can be dangerous, particularly for children, pregnant women, and anyone consuming tuna regularly. And since StarKist is one of the most widely eaten tuna brands in the country, the risk is multiplied. Mercury exposure isn't something you can see or taste. It doesn't make food smell bad or look spoiled. But inside the body, it can quietly affect the brain and nervous system, especially in young kids. Frequent exposure can impact memory, learning, and development. So, who's most at risk? Families that rely on tuna as a weekly meal. Children who eat tuna sandwiches multiple times a week. Anyone reaching for albacore instead of light tuna. Albacore has nearly 3 times more mercury than smaller varieties. That's why experts recommend limiting tuna intake and being picky about the type you buy. So what can you choose instead? For one, consider switching to sardines. They're a smaller fish, which means much lower mercury levels. Plus, they're packed with omega-3s, calcium, and vitamin D, nutrients that support heart and brain health. If you want to stick with tuna, go for chunk light instead of white or albacore. It's generally safer and made from smaller species like skipjack. The can may look the same. The name might sound familiar. But what's inside could tell a very different story. Would you still keep StarKist in your pantry after hearing this? Let us know in the comments. If you thought that was bad, wait until you hear about the next brand. A recall so widespread, it shook grocery shelves across America. Brand 2. Bumble Bee. Bumble Bee is another giant in the canned tuna world. For years, it's been one of the top names families recognize when they walk down the grocery aisle. But behind that trusted name, this brand has faced serious trouble. So much so that it even landed in criminal court. A few years ago, Bumble Bee had to recall thousands of cans over contamination risks. Even worse, safety lapses in one of its plants led to criminal cases against executives. These cases showed that corners were cut, and the health of consumers was put second to profits. It's almost unheard of for a food brand to face criminal charges. But Bumble Bee did. And the headlines were shocking. So why do people still buy it? Bumble Bee is everywhere. It's a big US name and often found on sale. Families looking to stretch their grocery dollars see it as an affordable protein. It's also heavily advertised, which helps it stay in kitchens despite the controversies. But here's the hidden issue: mercury. Just like other major tuna brands, Bumble Bee's albacore tuna is known to carry higher mercury levels. The FDA warns that frequent tuna consumption is risky for certain groups. This isn't just about one bad batch. It's a problem built into the fish itself. Who's most at risk? People who eat tuna several times a week. Pregnant women are warned to limit tuna due to mercury exposure. But children and regular tuna lovers face risks too. Mercury builds up in the body over time, and it can quietly affect health without obvious early signs. What's the safer swap? One option is chunk light tuna, which usually comes from smaller fish and has lower mercury levels. For families who want variety, fresh salmon is another smart protein. Or, for quick meals, even rotisserie chicken can take the place of tuna in sandwiches and salads without the same concerns. Would you still keep this in your pantry after hearing this? Comment below and subscribe, because we post daily investigations to help you shop smarter. And remember, the story doesn't stop here. Bumble Bee may have faced criminal cases, but the next brand we're uncovering is known for its iconic mermaid logo. And it's been linked to scandals that shocked even loyal shoppers. Brand 3. Chicken of the Sea. You've seen the mermaid. You've heard the name. Chicken of the Sea is one of the most iconic tuna brands in America. And it's been in family kitchens for decades. But behind the friendly logo and trusted image, this brand has faced major legal trouble and safety concerns that many shoppers never hear about. One of the biggest scandals? Price fixing. Chicken of the Sea was caught in a lawsuit alongside other top tuna companies for working together to keep prices artificially high. That means, while families were trying to save money at the store, these companies were allegedly padding their profits behind the scenes. It wasn't a small slap on the wrist. It was a serious case that showed just how far some brands will go to protect their bottom line. So why do people still buy it? Nostalgia plays a big role. Many shoppers grew up with the mermaid on the can. It's easy to find, it's cheap, and for many families, it feels like a safe bet, especially when you're on a tight food budget. But here's the hidden danger: cans that weren't cooked properly, creating a rare but deadly risk of botulism. Chicken of the Sea has pulled products in the past because of manufacturing problems that created a risk of botulism, a rare but life-threatening illness caused by foodborne toxins. Even one slip-up in the factory can turn a trusted pantry staple into a serious health risk. And that risk hits hardest where people rely on tuna the most. Who's at risk? Families using tuna as a budget-friendly protein. Children eating tuna sandwiches for lunch. people trying to stretch meals through the week. When recalls happen, those who depend on these products the most are often the ones most affected, without warning. So what are the safer swaps? If you have access, fresh fish cuts from the seafood counter are generally safer. They avoid the processing risks that come with canned goods. For canned options, check the label carefully. Look for chunk light or skipjack tuna. These tend to come from smaller fish and carry less mercury. Surprisingly, some store-brand tunas are more transparent about sourcing than the big names. Just be sure to read the label and avoid white or albacore if you're concerned about mercury levels. Would you trust a brand after learning about both price fixing and recall history? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for daily breakdowns on the hidden risks in your grocery cart. Because here's the twist. A lot of people assume store-brand tuna is always the safer, cheaper choice. But the truth? Even budget brands can come with their own dangers. Let's take a closer look at one store-brand name that shocked shoppers when the recall notice came out. Brand 4. Walmart's Great Value. Tuna, Walmart's Great Value label, is trusted by millions. It's the budget go-to for cereal, frozen meals, and, of course, canned tuna. Those small silver cans are stacked high on shelves, priced lower than almost any other brand. For families watching every dollar, Great Value tuna looks like a smart, affordable way to put protein on the table. But sometimes, cheap comes with a hidden cost. Independent tests have found that Great Value tuna can contain higher levels of mercury compared to other budget brands. You can't taste mercury, you can't smell it. It doesn't make the tuna look different, but it's there, and it builds up silently in the body over time. Even if one can doesn't seem dangerous, the risk grows for people who eat tuna regularly. The FDA has warned that frequent consumption, especially of albacore or white tuna, can raise health concerns for pregnant women, young children, and anyone eating tuna more than once a week. So why do people still trust it? Because it's cheap. Walmart is the biggest retailer in the country, and Great Value is everywhere. It feels familiar. It's in multi-packs. It's always on sale. For many families, it seems like the best value, especially when you're feeding a household on a tight budget. But here's the catch. The label doesn't always tell you what you need to know. Unlike some brands that clearly list where and how their tuna was sourced, Great Value offers little transparency. In some cases, Dolphin Safe logos were missing or unclear. That leaves shoppers guessing about fishing practices, quality control, and environmental impact. Without clear sourcing, families can't be sure what they're really getting, or what risks might be inside. Who's most at risk? Families who buy in bulk. Walmart encourages stocking up with value-sized packs. That means more cans eaten per week and more exposure to mercury over time. Kids who eat tuna sandwiches for lunch and adults on budget meal plans are especially vulnerable. So what's the safer swap? Aldi's Northern Catch brand has shown lower mercury levels in independent lab tests, and it's still affordable. Another smart move? Choosing chunk light tuna instead of white or albacore. Light tuna comes from smaller fish like skipjack, which typically have far less mercury. You can still shop smart without sacrificing safety. You just need to know what to look for. So, do you still trust what's inside the can after hearing this? Drop a comment below and let us know. And if you think only budget brands cut corners, think again. The next company is trusted by millions for quality, yet even their tuna hides risks. One test revealed a hidden danger that most shoppers never expected. Brand 5. Costco's Kirkland Tuna. If it's Kirkland, it must be good. That's the phrase many Costco shoppers live by. And for the most part, Costco has earned that trust. From household essentials to groceries, The Kirkland brand is often seen as a guarantee of both quality and value. For families shopping in bulk, Kirkland tuna feels like a no-brainer. Affordable, plentiful, and backed by the Costco name. Here's the shocker. Even Kirkland, the brand built on trust, isn't safe from hidden risks. Independent testing and consumer reports have flagged mercury levels in Kirkland's canned tuna. And mercury isn't something you can smell, taste, or detect. It hides inside the fish, building up in the body little by little. The danger isn't from a single can. It's from repeated use, week after week, meal after meal. That's where the real surprise lies. Kirkland isn't worse than other brands, but it isn't safer either. Even premium tuna can hold mercury at levels that raise red flags. The truth is, this problem isn't limited to budget cans. It's part of the tuna industry as a whole. So why do people still load it into their carts? Because Costco is trusted. Shoppers believe the Kirkland label means higher standards. The big multi-packs feel efficient, economical, and family-friendly. Buying a flat of Kirkland tuna feels like stocking up on safety. But here's the hidden truth. Premium branding doesn't erase mercury. And when you buy in bulk, the risk multiplies. Who's most at risk? Families who rely on those big packs. Parents who make tuna salad a weekly staple. Kids eating tuna sandwiches for school lunches. Pregnant women reaching for what feels like a lean, healthy protein. Over time, mercury builds up like an invisible weight inside the body, affecting memory, learning, and even long-term health. So what's the smarter move? The good news is that Costco actually sells better alternatives under the same roof. Their fresh salmon fillets are high in omega-3s and much lower in mercury. Their famous rotisserie chicken is affordable, ready to eat, and versatile for family meals. Both give you bulk protein without the hidden chemical risks that come with canned tuna. It's a reminder that even inside Costco, the smarter choice isn't always the one with the longest shelf life. Would you look at Kirkland tuna the same way after knowing this? Let us know in the comments, and hit subscribe for daily breakdowns of hidden food risks and safer swaps you can trust. Because while Kirkland has built its reputation on value, the final brand on our list is different. It markets itself as the healthy option, with sustainability at the center of its image. But even there, the risks aren't as clear-cut as the ads would have you believe. Brand 6. Wild Planet. Wild Planet is often seen as the safe tuna. With bold claims of being sustainable, wild-caught, and healthier, it has built a loyal following among health-conscious shoppers. Many families willingly pay more for Wild Planet, believing it's the better choice, worth the extra dollars for peace of mind. But here's the shocking truth. Even Wild Planet carries risks you might not expect. The company markets itself as eco-friendly. Its labels highlight sustainability and promise fishing methods that protect ocean life. That's attractive to shoppers who want to make choices that are good for both their bodies and the planet. But independent tests reveal something most buyers never consider. Independent tests show Wild Planet tuna still contains mercury, enough to raise serious health warnings despite its sustainable label. Being wild-caught or sustainable doesn't change the fact that tuna absorb mercury directly from the ocean. And that mercury doesn't just disappear. So why do people still load it into their carts? Because Wild Planet has positioned itself as the premium tuna. Shoppers believe they're buying a safer, cleaner product. For families focused on wellness, the higher price feels justified. The brand looks like the healthiest can on the shelf. But here's the hidden issue. The mercury risk isn't about the brand. It's about the species. Wild Planet sells a lot of albacore, also labeled as white tuna. Albacore naturally carries more mercury than smaller tuna like skipjack. So while the sourcing may be more ethical, the health risk doesn't disappear. The better option isn't automatically the safer one. Who's most at risk? Ironically, it's the very shoppers trying hardest to be healthy. Families who eat Wild Planet more frequently, because they trust it, may unknowingly increase their mercury exposure. Pregnant women, young kids, and anyone making tuna a regular part of a clean diet could be putting themselves at risk without realizing it. Mercury builds up slowly, like an invisible toxin, affecting the brain, nerves, and development over time. So what's the safer swap? Look for fish with naturally lower mercury. Skipjack tuna, usually sold as chunk light, is far safer than albacore. Or step away from tuna altogether. Fresh cod and tilapia are widely available, mild in flavor, and much lower in mercury. Even canned salmon can be a smarter choice for those who want convenience with fewer risks. Would you still pay extra for a premium label after knowing this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for daily investigations that expose hidden food risks and point you to safer swaps. Because this isn't just about one brand. It's about how we shop, who we trust, and the silent risks hiding in everyday foods. And now that we've seen the problems across 6 major tuna brands, it's time to wrap it up with the safest choices for your family moving forward. Safer swaps and smarter shopping. After exposing 6 major tuna brands, one thing is clear: no label guarantees safety. Even the brands we trust most can carry risks like mercury, recalls, or hidden sourcing issues. But the good news? You don't have to give up on quick, affordable protein. With a few smart swaps, you can keep your meals safe and your family protected. First, go fresh when you can. Salmon, cod, and tilapia from the seafood counter are naturally lower in mercury than albacore tuna. They cook quickly, taste mild enough for kids, and give you more control over what's on the plate. Second, rethink your sandwich filler. Fresh deli meats, like sliced turkey, chicken, or roast beef, can replace tuna in salads and sandwiches. They're convenient, protein-packed, and less likely to carry the same contamination concerns. Third, take control at home. Buying larger cuts of fish or meat and preparing them yourself means fewer hidden additives and less risk from factory errors. It's a simple way to know exactly what's going into your meals. Fourth, if you still buy tuna, choose wisely. Reach for chunk light or skipjack, the smaller fish with naturally lower mercury. These smaller fish carry far less mercury than white or albacore. For families that enjoy tuna weekly, that one swap alone makes a big difference. Finally, always check the label. Brands that clearly list sourcing and allergen info are usually safer bets. If a label hides too much, that's a red flag. Simple steps like these turn an everyday grocery run into smarter shopping. They protect your health, stretch your dollar, and bring peace of mind. Because food should never come with hidden risks. Before we wrap up, when we hear about recalls, lawsuits, or hidden mercury in popular brands, it can feel overwhelming. But remember, this isn't to scare you. It's to help you shop smarter. Every family deserves to know what's really inside the foods they trust, and knowledge is the first step toward safer choices. The truth is, canned tuna isn't all bad. It's affordable, convenient, and packed with protein. The problem is knowing which kinds carry higher risks and which options are safer. That's why simple swaps make such a difference. Choosing fresh fish like salmon or cod, reaching for deli meats instead of a can, or picking chunk-light tuna instead of albacore, all of these small changes add up. Food should bring comfort, not worry. It should be something you feel good about serving at the dinner table, not something you second-guess after the fact. By being more mindful of labels, portion sizes, and the type of fish you buy, you can enjoy the same quick, family-friendly meals with less concern. At the end of the day, shopping smarter isn't about avoiding everything, it's about balance. Knowing the risks, making safer swaps, and trusting your instincts when something doesn't seem right. So the next time you reach for a can of tuna, you'll know what to look for and how to protect your family with choices that are both safer and satisfying. Now that you've seen the truth behind 6 of the biggest canned tuna brands, I want to hear from you. Which one shocked you most? Was it the brand caught in lawsuits? The one tied to dangerous recalls? Or the healthy label that still carried mercury risks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and your feedback shapes the next investigations we bring to this channel. If today's video opened your eyes, don't stop here. We post daily reports exposing the hidden risks in everyday groceries so you can shop smarter, protect your family, and avoid the traps food companies hope you'll never notice. So hit subscribe, tap the bell, and join our community of smart shoppers. Because tomorrow's video could uncover hidden dangers in another pantry staple you buy every week. Together, we can make safer choices, because food should bring peace of mind, not hidden dangers. Stay safe, stay informed,